toddlers are horribly hard to control, aren't they? That's the point. They're very difficult to make them do what you want. So is this a good idea? No?
I don't know. I mean, it's an interesting subject.
Journalist Georgina Fuller's here. You think there's similarities between small children and puppies, I think you mean, not all children.
Yeah.
And Juno Sullivan, I mean, you hate this, don't you? You are involved in childcare charities. What's your problem with this show and the idea of it?
There are a number of things. Should we start with the actual title? Train your baby like a dog. Could you imagine if you said train your wife like a dog, how the whole country would be up in arms? But somewhere or other, it seems OK to say that about babies because they
You've got to guide your kids, haven't you? I mean, that's our
guide
job.
them.
You've got to teach them
train them
danger.
like a dog. Are they dogs?
But it is very different to talk about, you know, a grown adult like that. I think what
I
simply...
don't think that's comparable.
No, I think what the question posed...
It's about respect, though, isn't it? It's about setting... It's a respect... You could have called it something else, but you haven't.
OK, beyond the title, what about the techniques?
The techniques is outdated. I mean, Pavlov tried to do this in the 1900s and found that these narrow stimuli are just one response. And actually, children are thinking, social beings. They need to learn to self-regulate. They need to understand the rationale for why things are. They need to be loved
But you can't really have a
unconditionally.
proper conversation, can you, with a
Yes, you
two-year-old
can. You
or a
absolutely can.
1.5-year-old?
Yeah, but it takes longer.
Why is it OK?
I think that I'm not saying that children are dogs, but I'm saying that there's definitely techniques and there's methods that you would use for a boisterous toddler that you would also use for a dog. I mean, they put toddlers on leads. I didn't do that with my boys personally, but you see it quite a lot. It's very common.
If you teach children to respond only to simple stimuli...
You mean like the clicker?
Like
Yes.
a clicker, indeed, or some kind of treat, then you're not giving them kind of opportunity to learn to think. Because what we want are thinking children, children who become problem solvers, children who can use language, children who can learn to self-regulate. If you do this in this narrow way, what happens is those children are quite vulnerable because if they learn to only please because you have to do something as a consequence, how do we actually extend their ability to think?
That getting
and to consider,
obedience
you know?
quickly is the short-term view, is what you're saying, but it's not the bigger picture of
There
how
is
we
some
should be
science
parenting.
behind it, though. There is some scientists who say, well, actually, the way that the brain of the dog and the brain of a baby and a child responds to stimuli and responds to discipline, that there is an overlap. But isn't this programme simply, in a sense, posing the question, is there anything that we can learn from the way that a dog learns discipline? Can we take anything from that and apply it to a child? That's an OK
and
question.
is that really that controversial? I mean, why do so many people have such an issue with that? We're not saying that children are dogs. We're not saying to dehumanise them. I respect that you're a childcare expert, and you know I'm raising 3 children and I'm sort of muddling along as best I can. But I've read books. I've read Gina Ford. I've read The Baby Whisperer. I've taken elements of each. I might not agree with all of them, but I'll take certain aspects.
But that's the point. You're able to make a choice about that. There are many vulnerable parents out there who are frightened and worried about this. There is no national understanding of what modern childhood looks like. If it does anything, this programme, it might start that kind of conversation. But the science you refer to is quite old hat. There is some very modern science about brain development and how the brain is quite plastic. And the experiences that shape the child's experience in terms of the kindness and stuff actually negatively affect that brain development.
Can I just...
Yes. I was just going to say one of the points that the people behind the petition say is that the clicker method, they believe, has led to some post-traumatic stress disorder in children with autism because it has been used in the past.
Exactly right.
In that way.
Exactly
and they're
right.
saying, actually, there is a bad consequence
because of too much cortisol from this kind of pressure on them all the time.
The stress of having to respond to the click.
Here's what I don't understand there. We have 24,000 people signing a petition for this show not to go out. Letters have been sent to the chief executive of Channel 4. What is wrong with a show going out and posing a question? No one's compelled to follow its advice. Are you?
You just don't have to watch.
Don't have to watch. Don't have to
It's
listen.
obviously deliberately provocative, and we've discussed that.
Let's say see what Channel 4 is saying. They say, train your baby like a dog explores a new approach to childcare grounded in positive, science-based motivational techniques that are used widely by parenting coaches and animal behaviour experts. And they go on to say that the welfare of all the contributors on the programme is of paramount importance, and the process is supervised by qualified child psychologists. So we'll see what it comes up with.
You're both excellent guests. Thank you. Thank you. So I know you've got more to say. We could talk about this for hours.
And you can stand or sit whenever you like. You are free to make that choice.
That's true. Your choice.
Although the floor manager is quite obsessive about controlling the show.